Hello, everyone. As promised, we are going to look at the South Node Venus conjunction in Libra in detail. And I'm going to show you two TNOs which are prominent in the chart. You might know that from time to time, I am going to show you one or two TNOs or centaurs that are relevant in the chart itself. Now, as you know, traditional astrology says that Libra is ruled by Venus. So it is a very prominent position for the love planet. But in karmic astrology, we use trans-Pluto as its ruler, really, because think about it. What is Libra like? It's the only object on the zodiac. And Libra people are cool and reserved, not very emotional. Well, after all, they are representing an object, really. And yes, they are very objective and very fair and diplomatic. And there are two things that they are not really interested in. One is carnal love, and the other one is money. And what is Venus? The goddess of love, and of course, especially carnal love, and of course, also it rules money. So that's one reason why we don't really treat her as the Libra ruler. We have trans-Pluto instead. So this is the exact time for the Venus South Node conjunction in London on November 29th at 1716. So this is the Budapest. That's why I gave you the title. It's the Budapest chart, simply because I didn't have the time to redo the charts, and really because we are not going to look at the whole chart itself. What is here relevant, and please disregard the Astrea conjunction with the ascendant, because that won't be, and also the Venus IC conjunction, because that won't be in the London chart. But the rest of the conjunctions will be there. So there's still the Ceres, Mars, Sun, triple conjunction. The Sun, of course, is already separating, and now Mars, of course, is also separating. We spoke about this a couple of times. I'm not going to repeat myself. And so is the Black Moon Lilith trans-Pluto conjunction. And what is new in this chart is the Moon and Vesta conjunction. So you can, at this space-time moment, you can focus on your own soul, your own family, your homeland, your tribe, your nation, if you want to. And you might need it, because the main thing here is this opposition, which is kind of dissolved by Neptune, but we are going to look at it in detail. So we still have the North Node Eris conjunction in Aries, and this teaches us to learn to fight for ourselves, to create a potential to be able to defend yourself. Of course, the South Node in Libra suggests that we are bringing in a lot of compliance energy, a lot of conformity energy. Let's talk about, let's not fight, let's talk, let's come to some sort of conclusion, or let's have a common denominator, something like that. And Venus there helps the process, although this is what I gave the space-time moment as title. What did you learn from the past that you may utilize now for your own benefits, or your own security, for your stability, your well-being, your harmony, because that's what Venus stands for. And it is opposite the North Node Aries conjunction, which is really the opposite of everything that Venus stands for, because Aries describes just drastically altered outward circumstances. If you look around, our whole world is in shambles. It's totally disrupted. Of course, this is programmed chaos that I told you many, many times. The powers that be don't want us to have a secure, content, nice life. They want us to suffer, simply because the emperor, the emperor. No, I'm not going to talk about this, because that is not astrology. So let's look at the astrology chart. So here's the dissolved opposition. As you can see, Neptune is the dissolver of the situation. And Neptune at the moment is also very, very strong in its own sign, but it's retrograde. And so the nodes are also retrograde, which means that this portion of the Neptune south node portion of the quincunx is monodirectional, which means that it sometimes works as a trine and sometimes works as a square or an opposition. So it's a very disruptive energy. Neptune, of course, denotes universal love and higher love and spiritual love. And Venus is the carnal love energy. And at the moment, that portion is a bi-directional quincunx, so we can utilize it as a trine. So what is the message of this particular quincunx? It tells you that if you want to create harmony, you need to love. In difficult situations, and I've had quite a few in my life, those who know me can realize this. My mantra was something like that in Hungarian, of course. I have things to do and I have people to love, and this is it's a great mantra because it shows you to focus on your everyday chores, on your things that you need to create or need to accomplish, and at the same time you need to have someone and many, preferably not just one, but at least someone to love. No, pets are not an option. Yes, they are a great thing in if you love pets and you have pets, you can say that, yeah, pets give you a great amount of love, but it doesn't substitute love between two people. And I'm not thinking now about carnal love at all. Love your neighbor, love your parents, love someone in your family, love your friends, okay? But you need love in your life. This Neptune-Venus quincunx is teaching you that. If we look at the transcendental objects, Neptune is still on Pandora. And as I explained in my previous video about the full moon, Neptune was also conjunct Pandora. Pandora is a funny asteroid. It was very prominent at the outbreak of the Ukrainian war, and it is prominent again at this very dark period for the Middle East. But at the same time, Pandora represents the fact that, okay, I want to know something that I should really not know about, and I'm opening this jar, and all of a sudden everything is coming out, and there's a horrible situation. It is like when you suspect that your partner is cheating on you, and you while he is taking or she is taking a shower, you are meddling with his phone. Okay, so that's it. Of course, you are finding that that message or whatever, and of course, then all hell breaks loose. And yeah, you would have been much better off if you hadn't looked, but of course, no, you wouldn't, because you can't really live in a situation that you are being cheated on. It's funny how the psychologist, Canadian psychologist Jordan Peterson speaks about cheating. He says that it's not the knowledge that someone touched your lover or something that you thought you belonged. He or she belonged to you, and it's not that. It's not the cheating, the act of cheating itself. It's the fact that your life becomes irrelevant from a point of view. Simply that you lived in a lie, that all of a sudden a huge portion of your life becomes a lie, and you don't know how to tolerate that lie. You can't overcome the situation because of that. So that's an interesting point. So that's on Pandora. I mean, Pandora is on Neptune, and on the Venus South Node conjunction, there's still the two bright stars, Spica and Arcturus. Spica is the alpha of Virgo. It's the potential for brilliance, and Arcturus is alpha Woods. And I did explain this a couple of videos ago, so you can go back there and take a look, because I even showed you where these two are. And you have three asteroids: Tristan, Gorgo, and Hiroshima. Hiroshima is complete destruction. Gorgo is the Gorgon, so the head of the Gorgon that turns you into stone, and Tristan is the knight in shining armor. So that's on the Venus South Node conjunction. And as I usually do, whenever I see something and I have a hunch that we might have to dig deeper to understand the situation, this is what I usually do. I try to find practically most of the time TNOs, because those are more relevant than asteroids, to tell you the truth, because TNOs, I mean, centaurs describe the nature of your karmic wounds. And as you know, I'm a karmic astrologer. So what I did was I looked to see if any of these TNOs are at 24, 25 degrees of the signs. And sure enough, there are a number of ones. In Taurus, there's Alicanto, and Alicanto is the bird, the nocturnal bird that eats precious metal and stones. And if it eats too much, it is unable to fly. And this TNO describes greed, unnecessary greed. It's okay to have something. It's okay to amass some sort of security around you, but don't hoard. So because then you won't be able to do your main function. What is the main function of a bird? To fly. Okay, so that's what it means. I'm going to show you Pramzius in detail, but of course there's Tyros, who is a centaur who hunts for bears, but he doesn't kill these bears. He takes them to his cave and tries to tame them, and it's the taming of the of your instinctual levels. That's what whether or not you can tame your instinctual levels. Typhoon, as you know, is a horrible monster. It's actually, sometimes it really shows deformity. If this is prominent, for instance, on the ascendant, it could actually show very ugly deformities. But of course, it is the destroying aspects of nature. And Zevana, I'm going to show you again. Those are the two TNOs we are going to look at detail. And look what happens in the chart. All of a sudden, we have a crib. A crib is a mystic rectangle with two angel wings on the top. So it really looks like a crib. At the middle of which is the Venus South Node opposite Aries North Node. And the crib is made by Neptune, Pandora, Alicanto, Tyros, and Typhon Zevana. And of course, there are all kinds of other things. For instance, within the crib, you have two boomerangs, okay, which I didn't enumerate because it doesn't matter. We also have a T-square, and we have a number of other little, for instance, there's a mini trapeze. So it's not just Neptune that is dissolving this energy, but a lot of other are chipping in. And the Alicanto, Pramzius, Typhon Zevana, T-square, fixed T-square is really funny. So we are going to look at the participants in detail. Here they are. Zevana is a TNO. It's interesting because as you can see, the orbital period is almost 600 years. And usually objects between 600 and 1,000 years are not TNOs, they are SDOs. Scattered disk objects. It's a different region in the solar system. But of course, I'm not going to argue with astronomers. It's their job to identify and give the label to these celestial objects. So I have to accept that this is a TNO. And to tell you the truth, it doesn't really matter, because in karmic astrology, all centaurs, TNOs, SDOs, and ETNOs are all labeled centaurs, and they are all describing the nature of our karmic wounds. And the name Zevana comes from a Slav nature goddess. She is the goddess of animals, plants, woods, hunting, and herbs. And she also rules love and fertility. So she's a kind of Venus substitute again. And in Transylvanian myths, she's the lady of the divas, or nature spirits, or elementals. So she really is the protector of nature, and not really nature, I have to tell you. And my dear green, very green fellow men and women, please don't protect nature. Nature doesn't need to be protected. Nature is cruel. For instance, it doesn't tolerate vacuum. It never tolerates any empty space, okay? The moment there's something empty, it will move in and will overtake. And who do you want to save the earth, really? If you want to kill off all the people, okay? Think about that. I mean, it's such a horrible idea. It's such a cruel, horrible, and idiotic idea. And yeah, you can go ahead and you can make yourself extinct, which I recommend, because I really don't want you to propagate either your ideas or your genes, because it's not really good for the earth. We will do the job. We will propagate. We will keep it on. Okay, so just get lost. And you, okay, let's not let's not look into this, because Devana is really the protection of creation. So we link creation protection to Devana, and not nature itself. Yeah, the protection of the natural world. Nature doesn't need to be protected. Creation does. Creation is very, very how should I put it? It is in a difficult position at the moment. Let's put it this way. Yes, and the healing properties of nature, of course, and the hierarchical structures of nature is also linked to Devana, because there's hierarchy in nature, and there's hierarchy in everything. You know what hierarchy means? The order of the sacrosanct, and that's exactly what we need. And the motto for Devana is, "You will never be sick if you accept my rules." If you live accordingly, of course. And the other TNO, and these at the moment are in a square position with Alicanto, and that's quite interesting in many ways. And here is Pramzius. The orbital period is 280 years. And it is, of course, a TNO. It's a proper TNO. And this is a Lithuanian creator god who created light, the sun, the seasons, and friendship. And the astrological meaning is linked to the seasons, the changing of the seasons, the movement of light, what actually astrology is also looking into and trying to assess and explain. And so we also link rulership over 3D time to Pramzius. And the motto is, "If I pay attention to nature, I will understand all processes." So as you can see, nature and creation protection and the understanding of nature's nature, and understanding of how what the rhythm of existence is very prominent in this chart. And I have a hunch that as I'm recording this, is the end of November, of course, so we are entering flu season. A lot of my friends are already sick, and one of my granddaughters as well. So we are entering again a period where there's going to be a lot of people who are suffering from all kinds of respiratory illnesses, and you can be sure that they are concocting another dose of those nice little things, bugs, that they are going to spray on us. And yes, half the population will be again sick, but that's what we usually do in the cold season. So please don't be scared of this. Yes, I'm sure they keep pushing things on us, and what can we do? But the other notion, the other topic of scaring and blackmailing will be nature, will be environmental protection, and you will watch. This is going to be the next agenda for the powers that be. Okay, here is another thing that I want to show you at the moment. It's not only Mercury that is out of bounds. It is actually very out of bounds at the moment, but also the moon. The moon is very out of bounds, as you can see. And in karmic astrology, when a planet is out of bounds, and here you can understand this much better in this planetarium drawing. So we actually say that the zodiacal belt is around where the sun is traveling, but the placement where the planets can be is this 47-degree position. So from the celestial equator, either side 23.5 degrees to the north and to the south. Here's the line that shows you the edge of it. And every time a planet is traveling above or below this edge, it becomes out of bound. And whenever there's an out of bound planet in an astrological chart, if you find one, it shows or indicates that the person suffered a huge amount of pain. So it's extreme pain that pushes us out of the edge. And it does bring you special traits as well, but if it's very, very out of bounds, like around 28, as you can see, Mercury is almost 26, but the moon is more than 28. So it's really, really above the ecliptic. And it means simply that you have special traits, but also completely alienated from what we call humanly or natural. So sometimes those special traits cannot be utilized on our level. That's the problem. And again, it is linked to extreme pain. And here is another dissolution of the tension of the Venus Eris tension, created by a series of aspects of the quintile series. You have all four main aspects of the quintile series: decile 36 degrees, quintile 72 degrees, tridecile 108 degrees, and biquintile 144 degrees. And these describe different levels of ingeniousness. Okay, and you have all four here. And if you see any of these in a natal chart, you usually get a person who doesn't even know that he is special in anything. The person usually says, well, yeah, I know this and I know that, but it's nothing special. Everyone knows it. And you have to explain, no. The problem with the quintile is that, yeah, different levels of ingeniousness, but there's no energy in these aspects. So nothing pushes the person to actually act upon them. But when they form some sort of configuration, and here you see there's a little, well, there are actually two arrows. You can look at them as this. Then it is a greater chance that they are going to manifest. And here, one dissolution is done by the moon and Vesta, which makes a tridecile to Venus south node and a quintile to north node Eris. Focus on your home, your whole soul, also your family, your homeland, something like that. And Sedna, which just went back into Taurus, retrograde Sedna, is also dissolving the tension. And what is interesting here, this is what I wanted to show you. I will produce a video on the next year, of course, as I usually do. And this decile between Aries and Sedna is going to be there for the full year, and even in 2025. So that is a promise. I'm not going to tell you what it is now, because we are going to look at it in detail in our my video on 2024. So that's the Venus energy here. And you please utilize it to your benefit, and pay attention to your loved ones, and pay attention to your love life. And I'm not only thinking about carnal love, because yeah, that's important as well, of course, but we overrate this type of love, really. And what this, you have to understand that carnal love became such an issue only in the last 80 years or so. It was never an issue before that. And certain regions in the world, it's still not an issue. People get a wife or a husband through family ties. It's the parents who usually decide who you are going to marry. And I'm not saying that this is a good practice. I'm not suggesting that this is something better than falling in love and marrying for love. But if you look at how many times all of a sudden you realize that, yeah, I was in love for maybe 2 years or maybe a couple of months. And now that I'm out of this euphoric feeling, who is this person next to me? I don't have anything in common with him. We don't have proper ties in everything. We think differently of things. And if you select a partner who is compatible with your own values and your own way of thinking and your religion or your outlook on life, it's probably better on the long run than just feeling this euphoric, idiotic feeling, which is very nice, very beautiful. It makes love. Love makes you beautiful even, but it's not really long-lasting because the pheromones are ruled by Venus, and Venus's orbit is 8 months. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.